Is the problem with the judiciary or is it with the lawyers?
No, it is. Well, we're part of the judiciary in a way, because you can't divorce. Most of these judges were lawyers before they became judges. The problem is with us.
Who are us?
It's with us. Everybody. There's enough blame to go round. Now, elections are coming again. People are strategizing. All these court cases are cases to make sure that politicians are well positioned for the coming 2019. I mean, you find a situation where every time, the most important issues in the country, they never take them to the Supreme Court. Fortunately, for instance, the Vice President, Professor Osinbajo, an erudite luminary, is the Vice President today. You have an issue. Mr. Nnadi just talked about Magu's issue, for instance, and a lot of other issues like that. Budget. Budget is the life of the country. Now, and there are always issues. Why should the Congress remove remove money for expressway and put it into their own constituency projects? All these are issues that the chief law officer, you can imagine when the issue came up, and then somebody who ought to know that, yes, this is a matter that should be a case stated before the highest courts of the land, saying if they don't agree with us, let them go to court. What stops the executive from taking the matter before the appellate courts and saying, give an interpretation? Tell us whether the Supreme Court, tell us whether the Senate has a right to confirm any nominee. The pronouncement of the Supreme Court may be final in law, but it is not final. It is not absolute, because even where the Supreme Court, in other jurisdictions, where the Supreme Court makes a pronouncement, then that is the time for the legislature to now amend the law and now dot the I's and cross the T's, so that there is no ambiguity anymore. If the Supreme Court rules against them, then they then go back and amend it and say, we must confirm. That is even if the Supreme Court. But then the chief law officer will say, I don't agree with the opinion of my vice president because it's not a the Federal Executive Council did not take that decision. What kind of government are we running, for Christ's sake? Is the VP not part of the FEC?
Let's get Marquez's question in on this. Marquez?
Well, sorry to interrupt your thoughts there, but only just this morning we just received clarification, a press statement coming in from the Attorney General of the Federation, saying that his comments have been misinterpreted, and I think that we will take that shortly. But I want to refer you, I'm not interested in the comment of the Deputy Senate President as to whether or not this is dead on arrival. I'm very concerned about the process, because he said that there was an amendment in 2010, which seems to be different from what is being carried out now. He said that quickly, let me read this now. He said, in 2010, this parliament amended the constitution regarding section 69. It states that the number of those who are supposed to have requested Mr. Melaye's recall are supposed to line up somewhere in Kogi, while Melaye and his lawyers and each person would verify their signature. When they're done with that, they go back to section 68, which states that the President of the Senate receives from the Chairman of INEC the recall number. They will also present evidence satisfactory to the House. So they need to come back here and convince each and every one of us that they have done the correct thing. Have the lawmakers made it impossible for themselves to be recalled?
Can I go on? Can I fire on now?
Sure.
Now, if indeed, I'm not aware of that amendment, and quite a lot of things happen in Nigeria. Budgets are padded, constitutions are amended without notification to the public. If indeed there was such an amendment, it's a very serious one. And if it had passed in terms of the law, there is because constitutional amendments are very, very difficult to effect. That is why till today, you have local council development areas in Lagos State for almost 15, 16 years, and they have not transformed into local governments because a lot of steps have to be taken. But if indeed, I consider the fact that if indeed there has been such an amendment, yes, I mean, speaking wisely, there can be no way that it means there's been an error in terms of the processes that they have to pass through. They have now made it extremely impossible to recall any member of the House. It's going to be impossible because for as long as he sits there and the members are his friends, how does INEC begin? It means it is no longer recall.
But that part that you spoke about, sorry to jump in, what you say, people said they came for signature for empowerment,
Yeah.
and then it turned out to be, isn't that fraud if it's found to be the case?
Of course, it will be fraudulent. But then he has to now prove that because he's making the allegation that these are the people. So the people
But
would
that's
have
tough to prove, wouldn't it? Would it be easy?
No. It's not going to be easy to prove because what they are saying is they have a book. I saw it on telly that they had a book where like a register where people were signing. Now, what the people who have presented their petition, what they will show INEC is a typed petition saying all the people who signed inside this book, they signed that we should recall. But what Melaye is saying is that those people who signed in that book, they came for empowerment. But the petition will be on top of it. They don't come together. It's not as if everybody signed every page of the petition. So it takes a lot. If the people now come and say, look, I didn't sign for recall, it's very easy to prove because all they have to do is they call the people, throw him in the box, and the man says, I didn't sign. And by the time you start removing them one by one, it falls short of the 52%.
We've got the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu. He joins us on the phone to just clarify the rationale behind his comments. Good morning, Senator, and thank you for joining us. Could you shed some light on why you made the comment about the recall process being dead on arrival?
Okay, first, I think it's unfair for my friend to say that what I said was irresponsible. But let me leave that, we'll sort out that anyway. The issue of recall of a parliamentarian is equivalent of impeachment for executive office holders, namely the president, the vice president, the governor, and the deputy. So actually, it needs to be stringent, otherwise people will abuse it. Now, the law is clear on it, and if you don't follow the law, you can't achieve it. And so, looking at how stringent the law is, I believe that everybody who is there also listening will also believe that it's going to almost be impossible to achieve. And why do you go and hit up the system when you know you won't achieve it? Why do you spend scarce resources when you know you won't achieve it? A situation where in the first place you have to verify the signatures as provided by the Section 3 of the First Amendment in 2010, which of course is a public document. Every lawyer is supposed to know about it. So, and that is still applicable to our system. And then when you are done with that, you still have to bring it to the Parliament, who now under Section 68, Section 2, Section 682, have to look at it and be sure that the policies have been followed. And of course, if it's not followed, they will not vote for it. And so if this is the provision of the law, then I'm sure that any reasonable person will know that it's very, very difficult to achieve. And so why are you going to waste time, waste people's time, and then waste people's money? That's why I say it's dead on arrival. Okay. So if you are doing something you know that will not succeed, why continue doing it? You know, so I believe there are better things to do with the monies of the Kogi state and their time.
All right. Thank you very much indeed for your views. All right. So he says, look, that's the point he's trying to make.
Well, it's good the Deputy Senate President has interjected to make the point clearer. And like I said, I was never aware of any such amendment where the constituent, it doesn't lie strictly with the constituent.
To go back.
It has to come back to the Senate for them to verify if the processes have been, the proper procedure have been followed. Now, if indeed that is true, we should not call it power of recall anymore, because it doesn't lie stricto sensu with the people in Dino Melaye's constituency to recall him, or in any constituency for that matter. So it's not about the people anymore. People don't have a right of recall. That is the implication as we stand.
Okay, that's where we anchor today then. Mr. John Oloyede, a legal practitioner, thank you very much indeed for coming on today. And yesterday we were also reminded, not actually reminded, we were told that what was reported yesterday by the AGF is that they were trying to say that he was quoted out of context, and that the AGF was trying to say that no, it doesn't have to be a decision taken by the FEC for the president or the acting president to take a decision about the EFCC chair. So he says, oh, they were quoted out of context, that they clearly can take that decision without recourse to the FEC.
That's alluded by one of our guests that was here yesterday, who said that every statement that should be taken seriously from any quarter must come from the FEC.
So there you go. That's the show today. Well, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. I can't say next week now. I'm Chamberlain. So.
Of course. Okay. It's Friday. Stay safe. I'm Gimba Umar.
I hope to see you later this evening. Thank you for watching this morning. I'm Mao Ogun.